Is the fact our winds are going to pick up a little bit. Right now, you can see that storm dumping lots and lots of rain over southern Mississippi and southern Louisiana. You know, out of all the hazards a hurricane presents, a storm surge is actually the most dangerous and damaging. So let's explain a little about how a storm surge works, what it is exactly. Storm surge is a rise in the sea surface. It's created when the hurricane wind blows over a very large distance of the ocean, and those winds pile that water up along the shore. Now, the winds of a hurricane move counterclockwise. So the area on the right side of the storm hitting the Gulf Coast gets the worst storm surge. Another thing to consider is that storm surge does not take into account the waves or the tides. So with Isaac, we're expecting a storm surge up to about 12 feet in places. Already we've seen it up to 10 feet. Add on that high tide of 1 to 2 feet and waves up to 10 feet, and we're looking at the potential for water surrounding New Orleans to be 20 to 24 feet higher than usual. Now, this new system they designed to withstand a Category 3 storm. Isaac, only a Category 1, so you would think that New Orleans would be in the clear, but Isaac's large wind field, it's a very large storm, and slow movement make this hurricane a little more dangerous than your average Category 1 storm.
Natalie, thank you for that. Of course, 5:02, we're continuing to coverage what happened overnight, and of course the storm arrived in New Orleans last night, really bringing more rain than anything else. It was a Category 1 storm. We were predicting that. Natalie was talking about that yesterday. Obviously much weaker than Katrina was when it hit back in '05 as a Cat 3.
Right, and despite the fact so that the wind speeds are at 80 miles per hour, reports say that the rain was more noticeable than the wind. NBC's Danielle Lee has the latest conditions from New Orleans.
Isaac is coming ashore with a fury. Vicious winds and heavy rain are barreling down on coastal cities in 4 different states. The storm is knocking down trees and taking out power lines. In New Orleans alone, more than 300,000 people had lost power by the early morning. Violent waves are hurling down along the coast, and storm surges up to 12 feet high are leaving low-lying areas underwater.
Strong winds, heavy rain for long periods of time could produce flooding well away from the coast.
The storm is expected to last in New Orleans at least 24 hours and could bring more than a foot of rain.
We're in the heart of this fight. We're in the hunker down phase.
On the mayor's advice, many neighbors devastated by Katrina aren't just hunkering down. They're helping each other survive.
It's about knowing who's here, so if something bad happened, you know where you have to stop.
You never know who you're going to need in this world.
Lessons learned from a hurricane that struck exactly 7 years ago today.
And this here is a palm frond that was just ripped off one of the trees behind me as this wind and rain just rushes through the French Quarter. And as this rain continues to come down, the threat of flooding just intensifies here in New Orleans. I'm Danielle Lee for NBC News.